Huh? Why not mute thing is over here.
Oh, my host.
The mute thing is over here.
Hey, Abby.
Hello. So everyone needs to mute out their line, please, because I am not the host. I have no control. Dr. Josh, who I'm going to introduce in a minute, has all of the control tonight.
Oh, I don't know if it's good or not.
Oh, it's fantastic. Okay, so we'll get started right away. I know people will be hopping on late, but I want to definitely use your time wisely. And thank you everyone for hopping on tonight. I am ridiculously grateful and excited to introduce you to Dr. Josh and Lisa Dunsky. They are not financially tied to myself or my team at all, but we met a couple years ago and instantly were drawn to each other. They are so caring and put their whole heart into not only their own team, but all of Isagenix. And Dr. Josh, if you've never heard him train about science and food, I highly recommend you attend the event on July 29th in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, because he will be doing his thing again at that event as well. So he and Lisa are both amazing. I'm so grateful for everything that they've done to support our team. And without further ado, I would love to introduce him to take over the call tonight and do his thing. So Dr. Josh and Lisa are, I believe they're 3 or 4-star Crystal executives. And without further ado, here they are. I'm going to let him do his thing. Please make sure you're muted out if you're not Dr. Josh.
Thank you, Abby, so much. And thank you, all of you, for being here tonight and allowing me to chat with you for a little bit. Are you able to record that? Awesome. So we're going to jump right into this. Abby, are you able to mute people out so once I turn the screen over to the presentation, I won't be able to do it, you know?
Yeah, I cannot because you have all the hosts.
If you're a co-host, can you do it?
Abby, can you make yourself a co-host?
Can I make?
Yeah, because once I go into slide mode, I can't mute people out.
See, I think if I claim host, did I just take away host from you?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
What about co-host this?
I don't think that I can co-host.
Abby, go to.
I'm gonna mute all right now.
Yeah.
So everybody's muted out, and I will just be firm on. I just have to find you again. There's so many people. Dr. Josh, there you are. Okay. Make host. Okay. And I'm gonna. Everybody should be muted out.
All right, we good? Can you hear me? Awesome. So let's bring this over to share screen. All right. Can you see me over there? All right, everybody. So thank you so much, Abby. And I love presenting this information. I love showing people their options. I love showing people that they actually do have control over much of their health. There's certainly situations where we're out of control, but most people have no clue that they can really regain their health through a vehicle that I happened to stumble upon 5 years ago through a colleague of mine who sent me a bottle of product B. And it's completely changed our practice. This program I'm going to talk to you about today is mandatory in my practice. I have a neuropathy program, a spinal degenerative program, and a gut program. And this is mandatory. If someone wants to come in and get healthy, they're going on this program. So I really want to share with you tonight the why. Why do we need this program? What's the problem out there? And this is something that affects everybody. And so that being said, let's just jump right into this and talk about what we're dealing with today. We are in a major health crisis right now, and it's getting worse. We thought it was possibly a few years ago going to get better, and it's so much worse. And we're going to talk about that today. Cancer, obesity, diabetes, all of these things are on the rise. You know, we live in a world, and I truly believe we have the best medicine. We have the best doctors to keep us alive in crisis care. The problem is with all that knowledge and crisis care, you betcha I want to be in that ER. And if we need those life-saving drugs, absolutely. But if we have all that knowledge, why are we one of the sickest countries in the world? So we have to change our thought process a little bit. Crisis care, emergency medicine is one thing, but healthcare and prevention is so much more. So I want to talk about that. You know, back in 2008, 1 in 4 children had a chronic illness. In 2008, today it's 1 in 2. 1 in 2 of our kids that's born has a chronic illness. So why is this happening? You know, this hits close to home for us and maybe some of you on this call tonight and some of you that are going to be watching this a few days from now. But our little Josie was born, our twins were born 3 months early, and Josie was one of those children. And we had a year long, we had 4.5 months of not knowing if she was going to make it or not, and then another year to get her back on track. And thankfully she's okay today, but I understand what it means to have our kids born with a chronic illness. And many of you do too. So this is not good. Cancer, 1 in 2 over 55 today is going to have cancer. Why is this happening in a world where we have the most brilliant minds in research and medicine? Why is this going on? Alzheimer's, every 66 seconds, someone's diagnosed with Alzheimer's or dementia or some other horrible neurodegenerative disease. And here are the statistics. Look at these statistics. 165 million Americans will be obese in a few years. 100 million Americans will have diabetes in a few years. And who's going to pay for it? Who's going to pay for us to be healthy? I thought I'd throw this up because this is so, so powerful. In fact, I need to move my slide a little bit so I can see this here. And I want to show you the slide. This is right out of the Medicare guidelines. Medicare guidelines, section 2251.3. Ready for this? A treatment plan that seeks to prevent disease, promote health, and prolong and enhance the quality of life, or therapy that is performed to maintain or prevent deterioration of a chronic condition is deemed not medically necessary. Every time I say that, I can't believe I'm saying those words. Medicare does not pay for us to be healthy. It's right in front of us. So who gets that task? You do, and your kids do. I do, and my kids do. And that's very unfortunate, but it's also empowering, because tonight is about empowering. Tonight's about removing ignorance and really giving you a choice. It's okay, whatever you choose to do, but you have a choice now. And many of you, when we give these lectures and we talk about this program, say, I just never knew. I didn't know. Well, now we're going to know. Now we're going to know. So why is this going on? This is due to what I believe to be a syndrome, and the word is out now. We have some phenomenal books that have been printed and researched and studied with a number of researchers on the TITO syndrome. And TITO stands for toxicity, deficiency, obesity, and stress. And that is why I think we are one of the sickest countries in the world. Now, some of you may say, well, hey, I'm not overweight. I'm not obese. Well, that's good. That's a good thing. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're healthy. Everybody's toxic. Everybody's deficient. And everybody's stressed. That's for sure. And if you don't think so, let me talk to you about it. And at the end of this presentation, if you still don't think so, that's okay too. Thanks. That's okay too. So let's talk about deficiency and toxicity. Since World War II, we've had 100,000, over 100,000 new industrial chemicals brought into our world. It's in our air. It's in our water. It's in our food. You know, the food companies today, they use about 10,000 different chemicals to make our food. Those are not good chemicals. Those are bad chemicals, most of them. Okay? And out of the 100,000 new industrial chemicals that are brought into our world, only 560 have ever been tested, right? You do the math. That's not good. In fact, I just heard the other day that the FDA allows 14 chemicals to be in organic food, right? 14 of those chemicals. Thank you. We have all sorts of phones and buzzers going off. It's right down there. Thank you. So let's talk about these chemicals here. Mount Sinai School of Medicine said that each of us have over 167 deadly toxins that live inside of us. There are studies out now that say that we have between 800 and 900 of those deadly toxins that live inside of us. That's not good. It's hard to avoid today. You know, our liver and our filtration system was designed to keep us clean and to get rid of those toxins, but not at the rate we're absorbing them, not at the rate our industrial world is exposing us to. So how do we deal with this? And to show you even further, the Red Cross did a study, and actually it was published on CNN. And they took these beautiful boys and beautiful girls at birth. They took their cord blood, and they tested their cord blood to see what their toxicity was at birth. And each and every single one of them had over 287 of these industrial chemicals inside them at birth. At birth. That means they're already born with the chips against them. They're already born with these toxins and these chemicals. You know, I don't know if any of you have a chemistry background, but one chemical can kill us, right? One chemical can make us very, very sick, let alone 287. I'm pretty sure we don't need mercury, iodine, Teflon, herbicides, and gasoline byproducts inside of us, right? It's just crazy. And we wonder why we're so sick. So this is part of the equation. This is serious. This is something that whether you have children or not, can be very impactful if we just know this information and know what we can do about it. The water, I mean, look at the water that we drink. Over 500 impurities, birth control, Wellbutrin. I'm pretty sure we don't need that inside of us. Antibiotics with every glass of water that we drink. Some of the best filtration systems can't get rid of that stuff, right? So I believe drugs and pharmacology has its place. If you're in an accident, you need that drug to keep you alive, that's great. But I'm talking about once you've been saved, to get off that stuff and do things that are good for us. Let's talk about food. What's the definition of food? So the definition of food goes much more than just fuel. It goes much more than just fats, carbs, and proteins. The real definition of food is this. It actually carries genetic information to our genes to tell us how to function. So the food that Mother Nature created for us has the genes. It's a computer programming to tell my body what to do every single minute of the day. So let me ask you this. Excuse me. If I'm a computer programmer and I go to work one day and I'm intoxicated, I drank a lot of booze before I went to work, might I not be putting the right codes in that computer to carry out that computer program? Of course. Might I make mistakes? Of course. So when people talk about genetically modified food, do you think it might be a problem? It's a big problem. It's a big problem. In fact, the FDA said for years and years and years, no problem. Genetically modified food is not a problem. In 2012, they came out with a 44,000-page booklet that's under the Freedom of Information Act. They had to, that categorically they were lying to us. Their very scientists said in that document, no one should be consuming genetically modified food. It is not safe. Yet, go to the store today and you can still buy it. It's everywhere. In fact, they're thinking about, in just a few years, about all the food, about 80% of the food is going to be genetically modified. That's the computer programmer telling our genes to do things it shouldn't be doing, right? Food allergies. Back in the early 90s, look at this. Started these food allergies. And when I was young, I didn't know anybody. My cousin, I only had one person that I knew when I was in 3rd grade or 4th grade had a food allergy. 1 out of 17 kids under 3 today has a food allergy. There, in that time frame between 97 and 2002, there's a 265% increase in ER visits. Those are emergency room visits, not from hysterical parents, but from pediatricians telling their parents, get this kid to the ER, he's sick or she's sick. That's scary. So what happened during this food time, this time period in the late 90s and early 2000s? Well, before I tell you that, what is a food allergy? Let's talk about this for a second. A food allergy is when the body sees foreign proteins, okay? It sees food, as in the food proteins as foreign, right? So what happens? The immune system launches an attack. The body doesn't want anything foreign inside of it, so it launches an inflammatory attack against those proteins, right? And that's dangerous. That's dangerous because bad things come out of that attack. And that's what can happen on a regular basis if we consume food that's seen as the body as a foreign invader. So Was there something in our food, or is there something now in our food that wasn't there years and years ago? Of course, right? And that was the adoption of these brilliant scientists designing these new proteins to be put in our food to yield better crops, bigger crops, more money, and to keep the pests away. Insecticides and pesticides and all of those things in the soy and the cotton and the corn, right? This wasn't good for us. These brilliant scientists were hired to make these companies more money and to keep the bugs away. But you know what? All of these other countries, European countries and Japan and New Zealand and Australia and 27 of the European countries and Canada said no studies have proven that this is safe for human consumption. So we're not going to do it. But guess what the United States' approach was, or their stance was? The FDA said, well, no studies have been done to prove it's unsafe. So we're going to allow it. And that's exactly what they did. They allowed it to happen. And the same thing happened with the milk and the introduction of those hormones in milk. Do you remember that happened? You know, according to CNN and Wall Street Journal, milk is one of the top, it's the #1 food allergy, right? And what happened with milk? Well, the same thing. These scientists went to work. How do we make the cows bigger? How do we yield more milk, more meat? Let's pump them full of this hormone. Not knowing, well, I take that back. I'm not going to say not knowing. Unbeknownst to us, the consumers, the elevated levels of these hormone levels are directly, there's no theory behind it. They're directly related to the increase in breast cancer, colon cancer, and prostate cancer, categorically. So now our children are consuming these bowls of cereal, glasses of milk, everything with this milk product in it, with these hormone levels. They're killing us and making us sick. Yet all of those other countries said, no way, Jose, we're not doing it here. No studies have proven it's safe. We're not going to do it. The United States, again, took a different approach and said no studies were done to prove it's unsafe. We're going to allow it. And what happened? Bad things happened. And in fact, I already discussed that with prostate cancer, colon cancer. And I'm not saying milk causes it. But what I am saying is when you increase those levels of those hormones, it directly correlates with the same elevated hormone levels that are directly associated with these problems. That's not good. That's not good on any level. In fact, I don't know if you know this, but today, 1 out of every 8 women has breast cancer. 1 out of 8, those are the statistics. And do you know that 10% is genetic? 10% of breast cancer is genetic. What does that mean? 90% of that is environmental. 90% of breast cancer is environmental, right? Do you see a pattern here, or at least a pattern that's starting? And you look at the statistics with cancer around the world, we have the highest cancer rates in the world, bar none. We also have the highest rates of GI disease, gastroesophageal reflux and diabetes and intestinal infections and IBD and IBS throughout the world, right? We're doing something wrong. Fatty liver disease in children. Children should not have fatty livers. They did these autopsies of these children that died in accidents, and they autopsied their livers, and they found that 17% of this category between 15 and 19 years old had fatty livers, you guys. Most of that is preventable. That's not normal. And metabolic syndrome is where 75% of all of our healthcare dollars go. That's one of the biggest stipends of our healthcare dollars to preventable diseases. Metabolic syndrome, type 2 diabetes, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, all those things that increase the risk factors of dying, of heart disease and stroke. Preventable if people just knew that there are options, right? It's just about a little more education. Obesity, I can talk to you all day long. A lot of you are already well-versed in the obesity epidemic. We were the #1 most obese country in the world until a couple years ago. Mexico's #1, the United States is #2, but even more depressing is we have 23 million children that are obese. That's not okay. That's absolutely not okay. If you think obesity is it's his fault or her fault, if you want to blame that person from sitting on the couch and eating Doritos and drinking Diet Coke all day and not exercising, if that's your theory, that's okay. But you have to now be able to explain how we have an epidemic today of obese 6-month-olds. You can't tell me they're sitting on the couch, they got their feet up, and they're not exercising enough. There's something else going on. The food we're consuming is poison. It's got dyes in it. It's got additives. It's got excitatory chemicals that make us think that food is okay, but changes our brain, literally. In fact, they took the brain scans on MRIs of children consuming sugar and cocaine addicts. And guess what? The MRIs are the same. They're virtually the same. The food that's not really food changes the brain just like a cocaine addict, right? So we gotta do something different. We gotta do something different. And these soft drinks, you know, some of these apple juice soft drinks, it says, organic, it says vegetable, pure vegetable sugar and whatnot. It's just as bad as sodas. It's just as bad as sodas. So we have to educate the parents too. They really got to dig in and understand what these fruit juices are doing. Horrible, horrible. And this is the world we live in today. Lisa and I were driving through Connecticut at one point, and we saw a sign on McDonald's on the billboard, lunch, $2.95, $2.95. So we don't blame the parents. We understand that people are not always in the situation where they have enough money to buy organic food. Some parents are worried about keeping the lights on and making their mortgage payment and feeding the kids. So we understand that. We're not blaming them. But there is an education process to say, look, here is an option. Here is an option. And I know many of you that are on this call tonight, you are teaching this too. And I can't say enough to you. Thank you for sharing this gift. This is a gift, everybody. This is a gift to share this knowledge with people that you love. I'll talk to one person. I'll talk to 10 people. I'll talk to 300 people, 3,000 people. Parents, kids, anybody who will listen, there are options. We have to take control of our health. This food that we're giving our kids that we're consuming, it's not food. It's not food, right? It's killing us. This slide right here shows the alkalinity and acidity chart related to our health. I'm not going to get into this slide. It's a little longer for purposes of tonight, but understand most of the food that we consume is making us very, very acidic. Our bodies want to be up here around 7.25 in terms of the alkaline acid ratio. So some food we eat is alkaline, and the majority of the American diet is very acidic, and that's where bad things happen. So we want to be, 80% of the time eating alkaline foods, 20%, maybe having some foods like meat. I'm not saying don't eat chicken, don't eat a steak and whatnot. I like steak. Do I eat it every day? No, of course not. So some of the foods is slightly acidic, and that's okay. But other foods on here like NutraSweet and aspartame, there is zero place in our diet for that stuff. I have a 3-hour lecture just on sweeteners and how they literally make us sick and kill us. So sugar, very inflammatory, very acidic. We want to be in this healthy place. We talk about osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is an immune problem. It's not lack of calcium, okay? Contrary to what you've been told. Yes, calcium's important. Yes, magnesium's important. But our immune system is off. And every time we consume coffee, I should say acidic coffee, because you can get healthy alkaline coffee now. Every time you drink a soda or eat food that's got sugar in it that's very acidic, we're bringing our body out of balance, and our body has to reach into the bones and pull calcium bicarbonate out of the bones to buffer the blood, right? Because our acidity keeps going down, and we need to bring it back up or we're going to die. And your body does it beautifully. But every time you put these acidic foods in the body, we become more acidic, hence leaching more calcium, hence osteopenia, osteoporosis. So this is big. This is big. I'm just going to get off this slide right here. But this is what's happening. It's kind of a funny slide, but it's kind of a sad slide. This is the world we're living in now. It's not just here. It's everywhere. Our food is killing us. So let's talk about the deficiency part now. I talk to people on a regular basis. They come into the clinic. They eat organic food, some of them. They're exercising. They're doing everything they should be doing. Why are they so sick? Why are they so sick and getting sicker? Because our soils are nutritionally bankrupt. Our soils are nutritionally defunct. UCLA did a study a few years ago, and they found that one bowl of spinach gave the average person a week's supply of iron. The study ended a few years ago, and it found that we need 43 bowls of spinach every day just to give us a week's supply of iron, and today it's 54 bowls. It's getting worse, people. We need the nutrition. We needed 1 orange back in the 30s. Today we need 8 oranges to make up the nutrition from 1 orange. And we need 6 to 12 apples today to give us what 1 apple gave us in 1976. So no one can sit here and say they're getting their nutrition from their food. I used to think so. I'm the first one to tell you, We should not need to supplement. We should be getting every single drop of nutrition from the food. It is impossible. If you think you're getting it from the food, good luck. You're not. And those micronutrients, those trace minerals, do you know we need 70 trace minerals, 70 trace minerals every single day to make your immune system work properly, our nervous system to work properly, our endocrine system to work properly. We're not getting it. And we're getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and then pile on this toxicity and pile on the stress, because stress is not just up here. Stress physiologically changes things in my gut and makes me sick. Changes our hormone levels and makes us sick. Stress is real. Stress is no different from me getting punched in the arm, a physical, mechanical trauma. Stress does that too. But our food doesn't have what we need to be healthy. Your body can heal. I believe I'm giving you a lot of science, and by the way, this is all proven. Now I'm going to give you a little theory here. I believe our bodies can heal from anything. That's just my belief. Okay, it's my opinion. But it can't do it if it's in a straitjacket. It can't do it if it doesn't have the micronutrients, the macronutrients to allow the body to heal. If you cut your finger right now and you don't put any bacitracin, neosporin, any of that junk on your finger, if you're healthy or relatively healthy, it's going to heal. But if you cut your finger and you take a nail file or you take sandpaper and you rub it in your finger every day, it's never going to heal. In fact, it's going to get inflamed, and eventually you're going to lose that finger. In fact, you're probably going to have a septic reaction. You're going to get poisonous. You're going to be toxic, and you're going to get sick, right? So let's help the body work better. That's all this is. Let's talk about the immune system for a second. Excuse me. There are things in our immune system. Excuse me. I get excited. I got to drink for a second. I get dry. There are things in our immune system that look like Pac-Man, literally. They're called macrophages. The macrophage in our immune system, think of them as cancer eaters. They eat bacteria, viruses, and cancer, okay? So these Pac-Men, every day, all day, they're working. They're working their butts off to keep you alive. Because cancer cells, it's normal and healthy that we have these cells. In fact, children, there's studies that show some children are born with thousands of cancer cells. But guess what? If their immune system's working properly, those Pac-Men go right through. And first what they do is they send like a GPS. It's like a dolphin with its sonar. They send out a GPS signal. They find this mutating cell, and they tell that cell, you better change back to a healthy cell or I'm going to eat you. So if it doesn't change back, the Pac-Man goes right over and eats the cancer cell. That's healthy. Guess what runs that Pac-Man? Guess what runs that macrophage? Enzymes. Guess what is the fuel, the gasoline, if you will, for those enzymes? The trace minerals. If you go to Whole Foods and some of these designer health food stores and nutrition shops, the best supplements I've seen have about 15 to 20 of these trace minerals. You need 70 every day. I wasn't getting 70. So if you don't have the trace minerals to make the enzymes, where's the gasoline to run these Pac-Men? It's not there, ladies and gentlemen. Another reason why our cancer rates are through the roof. You are now trying to drive a car from Boston to California on a quarter tank of gas. You're not going to get very far. So these Pac-Men, not only can't they do their job, they can't even eat these cancer cells anymore because there's no fuel for them to run, but they're not even detecting them. In fact, these macrophages they're driving right by these cancer cells. They're not even detecting them anymore. This is not good. This is like us telling our troops to go overseas and protect us and fight these wars, but we give them guns without ammunition. We give them shoes without soles on their feet. There's no fuel. This is not weight loss, everybody. That's what, it's okay if your goal is weight loss, but I want you to understand this is not about that. This is so much bigger, so much deeper, and so much more important. You're changing lives, whether it's just you or someone that you share this with. And all I'm going to say about this slide right here, people are trying to do the right thing, but you got these marketing companies that take these pictures of beautiful men, beautiful women with these muscles and abs. I want to look like her, I want to look like him. Take this protein. We're so confused as to what to do because there's very little regulation. The FDA gets involved when someone gets injured or there are false claims being made. Other than that, you can start your own supplement company tomorrow and have a product with almost no, let's say, vitamin C, and say there's vitamin C in there. You get my drift. There's no place in the body for petroleum products. There's no place in our body for dyes. Those dyes are poisonous to our children, right? But we're giving them Centrum and Flintstones. We don't know. Parents don't know. You got to help educate them. You got to help them. And we're confused. We're stressed. Who's not stressed today, right? I talked about that a little bit, right? Everybody's stressed. The primary stresses are money and what? Work, right? I want to add a third thing in there. I want to say kids, right? They're stressful. Stress is big. Stress, according to Stanford Medical School, is the #1 killer, right? But you'll never see it on a death certificate. It's the #1 killer is stress. So stress is real. I believe in meditation. I believe in yoga. I believe in fitting into your lives the things that make you feel good. But how do you do that if you got to work all day, or you have 3 jobs and you have kids and bills and all these things? You got to make time. Even if you do have 3 jobs, guess what? Because if you don't do something to mitigate that stress, it turns into disease, and that we can prove. But what do we have to do? We have to do something first. It all starts with changing our thought process. We have to change the way we think. We have to change the way we see our problems before we can address them, right? We have to know that these problems even exist. So if you don't think any of that stuff is true, that's okay. But if you do think it's true, and you think there's an ounce of good data here, which, by the way, we can prove all this. You know, USA Today published over 200 studies that prove our organic food is no healthier than inorganic food. It has less herbicides, less pesticides, so it's healthier in that respect. It doesn't have any more of the nutrition that we need, right? We have to do something different. We have to take our heads out of the sand and accept the fact that we might not know everything, and there might be something different. So what do we do? This is all good information, Josh, but what do we do about it? Well, let me explain to you what we don't do. Diets do not work. Counting calories is the most ridiculous thing out there. There are no calories in a brownie. There are no calories in a pizza. There are no calories in a donut. There aren't. I know you're all thinking I'm crazy. There aren't, according to your body, right? According to your body, those calories don't exist. You can only count calories in the lab. So why are you counting calories to get healthy? Why? Because all these diet companies want you to believe that. And I'm not saying you can't lose weight. Absolutely. You go on a starvation program, you're going to lose weight. But 99% of the time, according to the NIH, those diets fail. And you have what's called rebound. Not only does Linda gain all the weight back, she gains more back. Why? Because when you diet, you damage your body. You have muscle wasting, you decrease bone mass, your energy, your fat storage, your sugar levels, all those things are off skew now. They're all over the place. Diets are harmful to us. So this is not a diet. This program is about the 23 million children that are obese. It's about the 81% of the Americans that are overweight. It's about showing them something that can help them. It's a lifestyle. But you've got to get rid of the junk. Here's where it comes down to. This is where the rubber meets the road. Your body has the most amazing filtration system known to man. The problem is those filters get polluted, just like a polluted oil filter. So if you go to Jiffy Lube and they change your oil and the gentleman takes out the oil filter and he says it's dripping with junk, do you want to replace it for $35 or should I put it back in and pour clean oil over it? Well, if you do that, if you just put in good nutrition, you're not getting rid of the junk in the oil filter. You're going to get sick. Your body's going to be taxed. That's called auto-intoxication. Those filters are clogged. We have a platform now that I was introduced to 5 years ago that I cannot believe I didn't know about before this. I was using programs that are high level in the science, some good science, there are some good companies out there. I want to say that, right? There are some companies today doing some really good work, but I could never get the results that I knew that were out there. I never found a program that was so simple to use. It's like, where did this come from? I feel so blessed that we were introduced to this. And I never found a program that had sustainability with science and had long-term results. Long-term. We have studies, we have long-term studies now. I don't know any other program that has that, just on maintenance. You continue to build muscle, you continue to lose fat, you continue to improve arterial flexibility. Oh my goodness, this can affect my heart? You better believe it, in a good way. So we've got to get rid of the junk, we've got to clean out the junk, reboot the computer, and infuse the good nutrition. And I will tell you something, this program works. It gives back what Mother Nature intended us to have millions of years ago, but we couldn't get. So what is this program? What are you talking about, Josh? This is what it is. It's a nutritional cleansing system with intermittent fasting. The studies have been done. The facts are out. Intermittent fasting works. It is published. You can look it up, and you'll see thousands of articles on intermittent fasting. The problem is most programs don't have the tools for the normal person to be successful. Because if you're just going to fast and not eat, you know, you're going to go about it the wrong way. Your brain needs sugar every 3 hours. When people say sugar's not good, or sugar's bad, or don't eat sugar, I don't know where they got that information, because sugar is good. The right amount of sugar and the right kind of sugar. That's the difference. People still keep saying, I hear this on a regular basis, I don't want a program with sugar. Oh, there's sugar in there. Do you eat fruits and vegetables? Yes. Well, then you're eating sugar. And that's the same thing in this program. So understand that. It's the information. People just don't have the whole story. They have a piece of the story. And that's my job. That's your job to share with them if they're open. I just say, Linda, are you open to learning something I didn't even know? Sure. Thank you. I didn't even know. So if Linda's open, I have the discussion. Thank you. If Linda's not open, go to Bob and Jenny and Doug, because guess what? People are dying for this information. This is a nutritional cleansing system that I've never seen before, and it's not difficult to use. So let's go to this letter here. Let me summarize what this program is, and then I want to show you some things that wow me. It might wow some of you. Newsweek magazine showed a picture of the fat cell, and basically it's an adipose cell is a fat cell. And yes, I'm drinking an e-shot at 8:30 at night. Love them. Adaptogenic herbs and good energy, as you can see. So our body protects us. Our body has the most amazing defense mechanism. These deadly toxins come into our body through our skin, through the water, through the food. They got to go somewhere, because if they're not stored in a safe place, we will die. We'll become too toxic. So the body, being so brilliant, it makes this visceral fat. Visceral fat is like cement, ladies and gentlemen. Visceral fat surrounds the deadly toxins and surrounds our organs. It literally keeps us alive, but it also kills us, because visceral fat is what equates to metabolic disease. It's not good to have a lot of visceral fat, but really it's good if the toxins are in there, but it's not good to have the toxins in there first and foremost. So when you go on a diet, right, a typical diet, you reduce calories. Your body knows two things. It only knows two things regarding calories: a nutrient-dense calorie, a calorie that's going to help me, or a nutrient-empty calorie that's going to kill me and make me sick. So when you reduce calories, so here's a normal diet, pick any diet out there, it doesn't matter. I'm reducing calories. I'm reducing an already nutritionally deficient calorie. When you consume calories that are deficient, you're screwing around the hormones. Cortisol, all those go up. Insulin regulation goes way out of control. Fat burning shuts down. It's a mess. It's a physiological nightmare. But we're counting calories. And you say, oh, my friend Jenny looks great. She looks great on the outside. She's dying on the inside. And guess what? Some of the most unhealthy people that we see are athletes with abs. You know why? From the majority of the junk in typical supplements, right? Are they looking aesthetically they want to? Sure, temporarily for a few years, but it's killing them. And also athletes, they breathe more oxygen than we do because they're working out. So guess what? More oxidative stress. If your body's not making the right amounts of glutathione and all these beautiful antioxidants and using these hormone levels to get rid of the oxidative stress, they're basically being poisoned at a higher rate than a normal person. So athletes need to look at this also. So this is the typical cleanse, the diet. You reduce the calories, the toxins stay in the body makes more fat. It doesn't work long term. In a cleansing system, we're not going after the fat. We're going after the toxins. And that's why this is so important. This program goes after the deadly toxins. The fat drops off. The muscle is built. The bones become stronger. Your body regulates itself, because this nutritional platform does not cure, does not treat, does not prevent any illness or disease. What this program is, the food that we can't get anymore. It's the nutrients that Mother Nature intended us to have every single day, so your body can do what it's best at. I don't cure anything. No practitioner cures anything. No pill, no supplement cures anything. Your body can deal with it, but not if it doesn't have the gasoline to run the engine. That's all this is. It's very simple to explain. That's what this program is. Whoops. And so I already said that disclaimer. It's very important that you tell people, explain people compliantly, this does not treat, cure, or prevent any illness. No supplement, no food does, but it gives the body what it needs. This program, this company does everything the right way. Everything the right way. They don't want to be in second place. They want to be in first place. I could talk to you for an hour about this one slide. Let me just tell you, you have over 50 full-time research scientists dedicated to making sure you have the highest quality ingredients with zero compromise going in your body. I give it to my kids. I give it to my parents. I give it to my patients. It is the most incredible program I have ever seen out there. There are some good companies that do some good work. I've never seen anything to this level. I'm proud to be associated with this program, beyond belief. Now, again, I need to cut this down for time's sake, but I want to tell you something. I used to think I was eating clean. I used to think that, organic food was enough. Let me show you why. Just one of the reasons why this company is so different. This company gets their organic ingredients from credible certified sources, okay? Each organic ingredient comes in with a certificate of authenticity, right? Watch this. This company goes above and beyond that. They say, okay, that's great. We're going to test every piece of raw material that comes in here. So they DNA fingerprint test every piece of organic material, even though it comes in with an organic certificate, and they find that there's a percentage of the ingredients that still have heavy metals and pesticides and herbicides, which bring in the heavy metals. Are you kidding me? Whole Foods doesn't do this. Guess what Isagenix does? They reject those ingredients that they test positive on. So when you say you're eating clean, when I used to say I'm eating clean, no, I wasn't. I was doing okay. This is eating clean. You're not getting any of that junk. Whole Foods doesn't do that, right? This company does. Why do we have 83.5% of the entire company using us just for the nutrition? Because we are their Whole Foods. Because they are getting the cleanest, purest food on the planet, period. All clinically tested. All of the stuff that's done, yes, it's third-party tested. Yes, we have the studies up the yin-yang. But now, after all the products are done, they go out to all these other universities for clinical testing. That's pretty incredible. Again, above and beyond what they have to do. It is expensive to do that stuff. But you know what? They do it. And that's why it's another level of another layer of that onion that you can be proud of. I can't get into all these studies right here. This is a quick sheet on the facts. We have published studies in peer-reviewed medical journals that should make you feel very good. Phenomenal studies, good studies. We have a double-blind placebo study done at Arizona State. That's a live subject study with our products and whatnot in one of our lines, Isagenesis. So look at this stuff. Ask the person that invited you on here tonight for these studies. They'll show you. I wish I could talk to you more about the science. I love this stuff. I love this stuff. And that's why we have so many practitioners, whether they're internal medicine doctors, GI docs, chiropractors, nutritionists, dietitians, primary care physicians, physical therapists, all of those. Why do we have thousands of those practitioners using this program? Because we can prove it works through the science. Let me just hit on one of these, if you don't mind. So to me, this is one of the most powerful studies that we have. They compared the Isagenix 30-day system. How are we doing on time?
It is 8:40.
All right. We have a study that was done at UIC. They compared the Isagenix 30-day system compared to people on the heart healthy diet. That means not compared to people eating McDonald's, but compared to people eating healthy food, lean meats, fish. These are the results. There was 56% more weight loss, 47% more fat loss with the Isagenix program. But check this out. You mean to tell me I can reduce my visceral fat by twice the amount on the Isagenix system compared to people eating healthy? Game over. I mean, what else is there to talk about? That comes along with a published MRI. When I show this to practitioners, it's hard for them to say, no, I'll stick with the same science, or same nutrition I've been using for a long time, even though there's not much science behind that. No. They say, are you kidding me? Is this real? Yeah, it's real. How good does that make you feel? We can justify everything that Isagenix is, you guys, it's really something special. This is not to convince anybody. This is to say, look, if you're open, let me show you why this program might be a little different than the one you're on. The Colgan Institute took these athletes to prove that even athletes need to cleanse, more so than other people, for the reasons I already told you. And they did this study. Dr. Michael Colgan, world-renowned in protein and degeneration and aging. You got to look this guy up if you don't know who he is. Not many people don't know who he is. Incredible, incredibly brilliant in the world of protein and health. They took these athletes and they cleansed them and showed everybody that they can actually put lean muscle on an athlete while cleansing. That's unheard of. That's unheard of. So this program gets you clean and builds muscle. And like I said before, aside from the clinical testing, from all the studies, all these schools test our products when they're done. That's powerful, my friends. This program is a nutritional, cleansing system, but it's not a processing program. It's an enhancing program. It's infusing the body with what we need every single day. It's showering the body on the inside with all of the nutrition that Mother Nature intended us to have hundreds of millions of years ago that we cannot get. If you don't know anything about this program, get with the person that invited you on here. Ask the questions. You don't have to do anything. But what you can't be is ignorant anymore. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. As long as you have the information, then you can decide not to do something. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and bring Abby back on here.
New options at the top.
Stop share. Can she see? Abby, is Abby there?
I'm right here.
Can you see?
Yes, I can. Dr. Josh, can you hear me?
Yes.
You're amazing. Like, absolutely mind-blowing. I'm getting text message after text message about how amazing you are, how everybody needs to hear you. I hope you speak on the big stage one day and do this exact presentation, because it's like, yes, everybody needs to like let Lysogenics know Dr. Josh needs to present. But thank you.
Thank you so much.
I know we're a little over on time. Does anybody have any quick questions that they want to ask Dr. Josh, or type in the comments if you just want to give him love, which you're getting lots of love in the comments. You should read there.
Thank you.
Very valuable. Beyond Isogenics, this is stuff that people, I love how you say, you don't have to do anything you don't want to, but you can't be ignorant anymore. And that's really what it is. I love that. Anybody wants to say something, you can unmute your line and say something. Nothing? We're all speechless?
I could not have done that good of a job. There's no way.
Oh, no, you did.
Can we have the baby doggy?
He's always so amazing. And I guess people are just shy. They're just going to comment in the box.
I'll put a little comments out there.
Perfect.
I would just, in one word, passion. Josh presents this material with an immense amount of passion, and anyone who grasps even a tenth of the knowledge that he puts out there and shares that with someone else could literally change their life. So share this information with just as much passion as Josh's did, and we're going to be out there changing lives pretty quickly.
Thank you, Chad. That means a lot, buddy. I appreciate it.
I completely agree. Dr. Josh, you have the passion with the science the same way I have the passion with the change lives. I love it. Well, then I guess that we will let everyone, quick question from Christine. What do you recommend for athletes for upping calories on non-cleanse days?
What do I recommend? She's muted.
What do you recommend for athletes on upping calories on non-cleanse days?
You know, they can do it. So there are athletes that use extra shakes, that you just eating healthy. I mean, increasing their calories from a healthy source. Lean meats. I mean, there's endless amounts of, if I'm understanding this properly, healthy food in between those shakes. I mean, not to be facetious at all, but there's, upping the calories. Yeah, if you're training, you need to increase your calories. But there's just, you can add in those healthy meals and you're going to increase those calories. If you want specific numbers, you got to, get with a trainer and someone that can really get you to that level. But yeah, if you're training, you need that extra fuel to be able to get through a workout, no doubt. Yeah, Isoline Pro, absolutely. Utilizing that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I know Lisa was going to have you address if people took pictures or information, what you want kept not shared. What is your guidelines as far as what can people share that what you've taught them tonight?
Well, so some of there's a couple of new slides on there. I'm presenting. I do a lot of lecturing at medical conferences. There's a couple of slides that we're going to be using that we can't publish, and I guess I should have shown that in the beginning. So, if you're going to use it, just make sure that there's a couple on there. I guess what I would say is if it's something that you've all seen me do before, then you can use it. Just make sure you're not adding information that I didn't present. That's been a problem too. People will add information on a title and change the information, and we really got to be compliant. We got to be very careful. So if you feel that that information is accurate and you've seen it before, then you can post it. If it's a newer slide, I just ask that you don't post it. Because I do have new material that I present at these conferences, and we don't want that. I don't want that out until it's presented. Then it's all yours. You can do whatever you want with it. So I should have prefaced that. I'm sorry about that.
I would actually just say, Dr. Josh, anybody who's on this call, I would keep any information that you've gotten between watching this, and you can share from word of mouth, but there's no reason to be blasting slides or specific statistics around at all, because we aren't the ones who created it. We aren't the ones who know the exact science behind the studies. Take the information you learn from this and share that from your personal perspective.
I agree. Thank you, Abby.
Really good answer.
Very welcome. Okay, well then we will let everyone go. Thank you so much, Dr. Josh. I can't wait to see you in Portsmouth on July 20. Yes, July 29th. So there are some tickets still available for that event. So start spreading the word, guys. Let's fill that room up. And we have Joanna and Mike also coming up from New York. So it's going to be a killer rock star squad presenting, and I cannot wait. So you don't want to miss that. And you get to hear this again, so you don't want to miss that. And now you know why to get your prospects and your future team members at that event so they can hear this too.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Abby, and thank all of you too. I appreciate being here.
Thank you so much. Love you guys.
Thank you.
Love you.